All right, yeah, I'm back filming this again in the same outfit I did the last video. So I did these two in a row. So that's how I'm planning on doing it. Hey, it's Kay, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. All right, so decided to bring back installment of this video, and today we're going to be talking about my other favorite. This was like, I would say this is number one. I hate to say it is. It's number one. This one is number one for me. It's Power Rangers Mystic Force. Now, to those of you out there who are like, what the fuck are they doing with magic and capes for Power Rangers, and it's everything, and it's mostly heavily in fantasy more so than science and everything. And when you're a fantasy-esque nerd adjacent, this shit would be up your alley. For me, at least. For me, it was. It was that girl at the time. I loved everything about it. Almost everything. This one, it starts off. So apparently this one was shot in New Zealand as well, but they actually wanted the cast to keep their New Zealand accents, but that didn't work out. Except for that didn't work. That worked for 4 of them, not for the 5th one. Apparently the Green Ranger's American accent was so bad they just let him keep his thick accent anyway. So they said, "Fuck it." I mean, like, hey, more power to them. He still got a check. We still like Xander. Who cares? So this one to me is probably one of my favorite ones in a multitude of levels, because they kept kind of pushing the bound. They kept pushing more at them as Rangers and everything. And I like how there's 5 of them, but technically there's 8 actually. You know what I mean? So we have Nick, who's the Red Ranger. We have Vita, who's the Pink Ranger. We have Madison, who's the Blue Ranger. As I turn my page, Madison, who's the Blue Ranger. We had Claire, who was sort of a witch's apprentice, I guess you can say. Nick, Xander was the Green Ranger, and Chip was the Yellow Ranger. Then we had Udana, who was the White Snow Ranger, who was also the mentor to all of them and everything like that. And she was, no spoiler alert, if you didn't watch it, you should go watch it. She's also Nick's mother as well. And then we have Daggeron, who came in as a Solaris Ranger, which just not only did I like Daggeron, I loved his Zord, I loved his suit, I love Solaris, because as you see from out the background, which is not upright. And yeah, I love Solaris things. So like him being on there with Gingy and everything like that, oh, that was like my favorite. That was one of my favorite added on new Rangers to any franchise whatsoever. Just gonna say it right now. Next to Doggy from SPD. We'll get into him in the next one. So like I said, I love magic. I have a thing for fantasy and magic. I watch a lot of things that have fantasy and magic in it. So like Charm is one of my favorite TV shows. So clearly this is going to be up my alley as a Power Ranger thing. I actually kind of wish they would have did this again, but honestly, because I don't think we need another Dino one or another Ninja one or anything like that. Like we could have used another fantasy magic realm themed one, but obviously because this is kind of like once you hit the well, you kind of just tap it immediately. So there's like nowhere else you can kind of go in that realm of stuff. But I feel like they could have done something else. So their villains were really something extra. They were very flamboyant in a lot of ways. So we had Korag, who was we'll get into that later. We had Korag, we had Mordecai, who was so there's the Master, who is the big leader of all evil, all of dark magic and everything, to say the least. Then we have Mordecai, who is kind of like the lead of all of who's like the second in command, but basically the leader of all the little minions and everything like that. And then of course of Necroli, and then Imperium comes in later on, who was like his Egyptian, who always thought he had like traffic lights in the back of his thing. But like Imperium comes along, and then there's Korag as well, who is battling with the darkness, but he also has his memory start flowing back and everything like that. Fun facts about this that I did. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, how it was iterated, but then I had to think about it to actually fully grasp what it was saying. So first thing is that this is why one of the things I liked about this show was because so anytime Rangers get Zords, they usually are in the Zord. The first Zords that they get, they are the Zords themselves. So they call their Titans, which is basically like their the things that they're symbolically representing, which was fire, earth, lightning, water, and air. So they become the Titans that they are, and Titan of the elements that they're protecting and everything like that. And so they become the Titans themselves. They become the Zords themselves, and then they combine into a Zord, which they then. I know it kind of sounds weird because like you become the Zord and then you become another Zord. So technically they had like 4 to 5 different Zords throughout this entire run of their show. So, but that one to me is really interesting. And the other thing that was interesting was when Vita, so one of the moves that they have is when they're all in their Titan modes, they can do this thing where Vita, who turns she's like a little butterfly, she turns into a ball, and then all of them just starts just flinging her about until they're ready to do the final move. And I'm like, so you're just flinging your teammate around in a ball form. I was like, who came up with that? But that was funny as shit to me. And then the second form of that is when they turn into a dragon. So the 4 of them, so outside of Nick, the other 4 turn into a dragon, and then Nick rises them around and everything, do another move, but then they all combine into their Megazord and everything like that. My favorite episode was probably the Dark Wish one, when they lost their powers. They had to fight they wanted to get their powers back. And I think this is when I don't think it was it wasn't when the 10 Terra showed up. It was when the Titans, I think, just before the 10 Terra showed up, there was another group, I can't remember who they were, and they came in, wreaked havoc, did all this other shit, and then they finally got their legendary modes in that moment, which, that was fire to me. I'm sorry. Just the legendary mode, their staffs and everything like that. I thought that was a kind of a cool concept as well. And so from there, they introduced the 10 Terrors, which I like this period of the show. I appreciate that they had these 10 Terrors. They all were unique in their own way. I like how some of them had conscience. They were conscious. I like how some of them had a little voice in their head telling them, are we actually doing the right thing? Are we doing good things? Are we doing the things that we should be doing for evil when it doesn't turn out that things aren't the way that it seems? So these are the villains kind of sitting with that in their head. So that tells me something, like they actually thought about a lot of these characters. Some of them actually didn't want to be, they were created by who they were created for, but they didn't want to be the villains that they were already plotted to be. Some of them were. And so like, to me, the 10 Terror stuff was fun. I thought this was a very interesting, let me stay on task. So they're also the only team that have Kates as well, which is actually true because there's no other one that ever done anything with Kate since. And I actually kind of like that little additive to their thing. I thought it was kind of cool. Obviously, in practicality, it wouldn't really work because it's like, so we can just like everything. But like, yeah, I like the idea of it, you know what I mean? This is the one that kind of got me until I really thought about it. Is saying like, this is the only Power Rangers team to have a gender swap between yellow and blue. And then I thought about, well, didn't Ninja Storm come right before this one, I think? And then they have a Yellow Ranger who was a guy and a blue one who was a guy. But I think it's because they were the first team of 5 to actually do that. Because any team of 5 that had came about never had a blue female ranger. This one, a woman ranger. So this one actually did. And so they switched the colors around on this team for that reason, which I actually thought was kind of interesting. Cool, too, because it's like we never really had... You know, we've always had a pink ranger who's always a girl. We've always had a yellow ranger who's always a girl, but we never had a boy ranger who's a boy in yellow and everything and so forth. In a team of 5, not a team of 3, 5. So also, this is also the best part too. This is the first season, I think the only one to have an entire family be Power Rangers in a sense. And so we're talking about Udana, Nick, and Korag. Liambo is his real name, who are all family. Nick is their child, and they were all Power Rangers and everything for like a brief moment in time before and everything. So that was the first time that's ever happened to, which was also cool as well. I think when that reveal happened, I gagged. I was like, oh, he was their lost child all this time. Looks nothing like his parents. Oh, also, this was also shot alongside their Japanese Sentai counterparts as well. So I guess when they were doing this, they were also filming this as well, which is ironic. So I wonder how those kind of looked simultaneously. But anywho, like I said, I love they had so many Megazords. I love that they had their Titans, then they had their Dragon formation, and they had their regular Megazord, and then they got their legendary mode Megazord, which Nick was a Phoenix, and then the four of them turned into a lion. So you can give them their own legendary goddamn Zord too, but hey, I ain't the writer of the show. And then they combined into their own Megazord as well. But then they also had the Centaurus Megazord, which Nick sometimes would go take over as well, from Korag when he's in his evil era. And then also the Centaurus Wolf Megazord. Just thinking about this just brings me back to my good old childhood, yeah. But I like I said, I love this show. I love this version of it. I thought it was entertaining for me. I enjoyed it. I don't think Nick was a really good Red Ranger in this one as well, personally speaking. I think that, but as a team, I think they did. I think they were just, I don't know if they were the best team combination as far as like how they work together and everything. I think they kind of always found the strength to keep going and keep pushing and keep. Oh, another thing. Here's another great part about this one, okay? So, the mother of all good magic, I think her name was Mother Mystic or something like that, was actually Rita Repulsa, who then devoted her life to doing good things. Just because we just threw her in this and shit like that. Like, all right, go off, girl. Like, I love that. I love that little like, oh, we're gonna change this now. Just make her the mother of all good magic and everything, which was good. I think that, you know, now that Power Rangers is getting a soft reboot, and who knows where they're gonna go and what they're gonna do, I kind of want them to revisit Mystic Force again, or just magic in general. Just revisit it in some way, shape, or form. I think that this one was fun and entertaining to watch, and I really enjoyed it. I remember we were watching it, I was like, I enjoyed it as much as I did before, and I love that whole Iron Heart, Fire Heart, where Nick combines with him and makes his own, you know, battleizer thing and everything. Again, if I had to rate this, it would be an 8 out of 10. It was just that good. You know, I would give it a 9. I would give it a 10, but it wasn't a perfect one. You know what I mean? I do think that there were some elements of it that were kind of, you know, like, at some point I couldn't take Vito. After a certain point, you know, Madison just kind of got on my nerves as well, and Xander was just, I don't know. I think Chip and Xander weren't. I think the whole problem with the team was they got along and they got along well, but it just didn't feel like they were truly meshing the way that I think they should have. It's weird to say that. Like, I still like them, but just them, but it's like something about them never really connected too well. There was always sort of a distance in between how the characters kind of. It's weird to say that, but yeah. Well, anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all for watching this. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for coming to my little corner of the internet. I will see you all next time.